We have to kill him. And we will.
The fifth and final season of Stranger Things is slated to drop on Netflix this year, bringing the curtain down on a wild, expansive tale that's kept us hooked for ages. As it races toward the finish line, the show has a big job ahead, giving closure to the stories of over a dozen central characters while stitching up the series' many dangling plot lines. From the eerie streets of Hawkins to the twisted depths of the Upside Down, there are mysteries that have been simmering for far too long, and now, after all these years, it's time for the truth to come out. In this video, we're breaking down 14 critical questions that Stranger Things Season 5 has to answer before it says goodbye for good. Number 14. Did the Upside Down exist before Henry Creel, aka Vecna? The big twist at the end of Stranger Things Season 4, Part 1, gave us a solid rundown of how Henry Creel turned into Vecna after Eleven took him down as a kid in Hawkins' lab. It was a wild reveal, no doubt, but even with that bombshell, his full backstory still feels a bit murky. One huge question lingers. Did the Upside Down already exist before Vecna got there? And if it did, how the heck did it come to be? When Vecna first stumbles into that psychic nightmare, the place looks like some raw, ancient world, like a planet still figuring itself out. So, Season 5 has to clear this up. Did Creel cook up the Upside Down himself, or was it already kicking around in some rough, primal state before he showed up? Number 13. Is Vecna actually the big boss of the Upside Down? Despite his powers and ability to seemingly make the Upside Down bend to his own will, Vecna, Henry Creel, whatever the hell you want to call him, might be just as screwed by that freaky-ass dimension as the rest of his victims. As revealed in the stage production Stranger Things, the first shadow, a very young Henry Creel, happened upon the Upside Down by accident. That's where he bumped into the Mind Flayer, and that shadowy bastard sank its claws into him, fucking him up for good and turning him into the family-murdering psycho we know today. Here's the kicker though, we still don't have a damn clue if that place he wandered into, some shit called Dimension X, is the same as the Upside Down we've been dealing with. Maybe the Upside Down is just Vecna's messed up remix of whatever he saw as a kid, which could mean he's the one steering the ship in that hellhole. Or, plot twist, maybe the Mind Flayer is just kicking back, letting Vecna strut around like he's boss, while it's plotting to fuck up Hawkins for its own creepy-ass reasons. Surely, Season 5 shouldn't leave us hanging on this one. Number 12. What were the Soviets planning with all those Demogorgons?
What the hell are they doing?
While Joyce, Murray, Hopper, and Enzo were poking around that bleak Soviet gulag in Season 4 of Stranger Things, they stumbled onto something wild in the basement. A hidden lair packed with upside-down creatures, like Demogorgons, trapped behind glass like some creepy exhibit. Even crazier, they found a piece of the Mind Flayer down there too. So naturally you've got to wonder, what in the world were the Soviets up to with these terrifying things? Maybe it's not too tough to guess, and the answer might be pretty obvious. With Stranger Things set during the fading days of the Cold War, the USSR could have been plotting one last big move to turn the tide their way. Maybe unleashing a whole army of Demogorgons on America, kicking things off in Hawkins and Illinois. If they pulled that off, they could just point to the Upside Down as the culprit and keep their hands clean. Season 5 needs to lay this mystery out for us. Number 11. Can Hawkins survive the Upside Down's invasion of the town? By the end of Season 4, Vecna's grand scheme starts to come together, and the Upside Down doesn't just creep into Hawkins, it full-on storms the place like never before. Buildings are crumbling, nature's drying up into nothing, and weird ash-like stuff is drifting down from the sky. Those creepy particles floating around, they've got to spell trouble for the people of Hawkins. Breathing in anything that dark and ominous is a bad idea, and chances are it's going to hit the town hard. What if those particles are spores, and those spores latch onto the nervous systems of everyone in Hawkins? Vecna could end up with an army twice as big in no time flat. All we can do is hold our breath, maybe literally, and see what the Stranger Things team has cooked up for this final season. And speaking of the Upside Down spilling into Hawkins, Season 5 has to show us how this mess has changed the town. With the cast growing up since the show kicked off, a time jump at the start of the season feels like a lock. It'd sync their real ages, like 21-year-old Millie Bobby Brown and 22-year-old Finn Wolfhard, with their characters, so they're not stuck playing 16-year-olds. But that also means the Upside Down will have had years to sink its claws into Hawkins, likely turning it into an ecological disaster zone. We need to see how bad it's gotten. Number 10. What linked Will Byers to Vecna throughout Stranger Things? Vecna has seemingly been connected to Will Byers ever since Stranger Things Season 1, when Will was first attacked by a Demogorgon and became trapped in the Upside Down. However, the nature of the pair's psychic link has been left largely unexplored in the series. Some fan theories claim that Will Byers could be Season 5's villain, but Stranger Things must explain the nature of their link regardless. Both were lonely, misunderstood kids, which could be the root of their psychic link. Could Vecna have chosen Will on purpose, sensing something unique within him? Perhaps he saw in Will a potential vessel or tool, someone with hidden abilities he could exploit to reshape the world. But there's also the possibility that Will harbors dormant powers he himself doesn't know about. After all, he's the only person, besides Eleven, who's survived an extended stay in the Upside Down. That fact alone raises questions. Whatever the case, Will's connection to Vecna is too significant to be a coincidence, and Season 5 will need to address it head on. Number 9. Can Max still take down Vecna while stuck in a coma? Season 4 of Stranger Things turned Sadie Sink's Max into a total standout, especially with her epic showdowns against Vecna. That epic running up that hill moment. Max went toe-to-toe to fight off Vecna's mind games and break free. But in the Season 4 finale, things didn't go so smooth. Teaming up with Eleven to face Vecna again, they barely scraped by. Eleven pulled off a close win, but Max paid a brutal price, landing in a coma after the fight. Now Season 5's got to answer a big one. Can Max still help take Vecna out while she's trapped in that coma? At first glance, it seems like a long shot. She can't move or talk, right? But hold on, her upside down self might not be as helpless as her real world body. There's a chance Max's role in Season 5 could reveal if someone can still kick ass alongside their alternate dimension version. Maybe she's got a shot at helping her crew bring Vecna down, even from a hospital bed. Number 8. Will Nancy end up with Jonathan, Steve, or neither? Stranger Things has its oldest love triangle begging for a real resolution by now. Sure, who's Nancy going to end up with? Steve, Jonathan, or maybe no one at all? Way back in Season 1, Nancy was with Steve, but their relationship became strained after Barb's disappearance. She eventually ditched Steve. Then by the end of Season 2, Nancy clicked with Jonathan while digging into Will's disappearance in the Upside Down. But as Season 3 rolled around, cracks started showing. By Season 4, things got even shakier. Jonathan's out here lying to Nancy about his college plans because he's too scared to disappoint her. At this point, figuring out which of these two guys she'll end up with, or if she'll walk away from both, is a total toss-up. Season 5, you've got to settle this once and for all. Number 7. Might Will finally confess his true feelings for Mike? This one might lean more toward fan wish fulfillment than some grand plot twist, but it's still worth asking. After Will kinda sorta spilled his heart to Mike, hiding it behind talk about Mike and Eleven's relationship, will he ever come clean about how he really feels? Fans lost it when Noah Schnapp came out publicly and confirmed what the show's subtle hints had been screaming. Will's gay and he's got it bad for Mike. The Stranger Things crew doesn't usually weave these careful little threads without some kind of payoff, so it feels like there's still a big moment waiting to drop here. Now that Jonathan's clued into his little brother's struggle, he's doing his best to be there for Will, supporting him however he can. But how long can Jonathan stand by and watch Will wrestle with this in silence? He might just end up spilling the beans himself if Will can't find the words. A secret this big could shake up their friendship for better or worse, and it's anyone's guess which way Season 5 will play it. Can't wait to see how it lands. Number 6. Will Eleven's sister Kaylee and her friends ever return to Hawkins? Eleven's friends, who were introduced in Season 2's widely reviled Episode 7, The Lost Sister, have scarcely been acknowledged since that infamous outing. Carly and her cohort of superpowered misfits were clearly intended to receive a spin-off of their own, but their adventure with Eleven proved so unpopular that the subplot was dropped entirely throughout Seasons 3 and 4. This worked for those outings, but now their existence must be addressed. If Stranger Things Season 5 is to meaningfully wrap up the story of the series, the show must answer the question of what happened to the rest of the test subjects. Since viewers learned that Henry Creel was the first Hawkins lab test subject, it makes the marauding band of runaway test subjects all the more important for the show's ending. Either Eleven or Vecna could try to corral the other test subjects to their side in the Battle of Hawkins, and Carly may potentially defect to Vecna's side thanks to the villain's masterful manipulation and her feeling of betrayal when Eleven left the group behind at the end of The Lost Sister. Number 5. Will Dmitri, aka Enzo, come back to help Hopper and Joyce take down Vecna? There's nothing better than a good enemy-turned-friend arc, and Dmitri, our favorite Russian guard, nailed that vibe by the end of Season 4. But in those last moments, it looked like he stayed behind in Russia instead of tagging along with Joyce, Hopper, and Murray to Hawkins. After that heartfelt talk with Yuri about how Vecna's chaos could eventually hit their families back home, it makes sense he'd stick around to keep things under control in the motherland. Still, how epic would it be to see him roll up for a reunion with Joyce and Hopper, ready to throw down against the Upside Down in the final fight? Number 4. Is Eddie Munson permanently gone after his Season 4 finale fate? Eddie Munson's death in the Stranger Things Season 4 finale was one of the show's most heartbreaking moments. However, the series has a history of reversing tragic fates. Most notably, Hopper's apparent death at the end of Season 3 was revealed to be a fake-out. Likewise, Season 1's shocking discovery of Will's body was quickly exposed as a ruse. Now, a popular fan theory suggests Eddie could still be alive in Season 5. This idea has gained traction, especially with fans analyzing the titles of Stranger Things Season 5 episodes. Particularly, one episode titled Escape from Camazotz has sparked theories about Eddie Munson's potential return, with some suggesting he could be transformed into a bat-like entity or a vampire, referencing both D&D lore and Mayan mythology. In Mayan mythology, Camazotz is a deity associated with death, night, and sacrifice, often depicted as a blend of man and bat. Eddie's death in Season 4 involved him being consumed by demobats, and his sacrifice could be seen as a connection to Camazotz's association with sacrifice. The title suggests a place or entity that the characters are trying to escape, and fan theories propose that Eddie could be transformed into a bat-like creature or a vampire, possibly serving as a new threat. Some fans have drawn parallels between Eddie and the D&D character Kaz the Bloody-Handed, who was resurrected by Vecna as a vampire after being killed by bats. So, the show needs to answer if he's truly gone or if Hawkins hasn't seen the last of him. Number 3. Is Dr. Brenner actually dead for good after Season 4? Besides Eddie, Eleven's complicated mentor, Dr. Brenner, looked like he bit the dust midway through Season 4 when he threw himself into the line of fire to help her escape her hunters. But here's the thing. This guy's already shrugged off a straight-up Demogorgon attack back in Season 1, so who's to say he's really gone this time? That Season 4 death could easily be another Stranger Things fake-out, and Dr. Brenner might just pop back up in Season 5 like it's no big deal. We need some solid proof he's out of the game for good, or a wild return to shake things up. Number 2. What's happened to Dr. Sam Owens? For the second time in 3 seasons, we left Dr. Sam Owens in a tight spot, handcuffed to a pipe in the Nina complex and facing a rough interrogation from that creep, Sullivan. It's still a step up from Season 2 though, when he got mauled by demodogs and left bleeding out on a stairwell. Now we're all wondering, did he break free from Nina or Sullivan's grip? And does he still have a part to play in Season 5? We're leaning toward yes on both. It's hard to believe Sullivan would go as far as killing him, especially with Eleven out there on the run. Owens could be the key to tracking her down, and with Dr. Brenner seemingly gone for good, Owens is the last one who really understands how Eleven's powers work. He might just be her secret weapon against Vecna. Number 1. Can Eleven ever live a normal life if she beats Vecna? Sure, a lot of the juiciest unanswered questions heading into Stranger Things Season 5 are tied to the show's wild lore and character backstories, but there's a more down-to-earth issue that's just as pressing. Eleven's been through absolute hell since her days in Hawkins' lab, facing off with Demogorgons, the Mind Flayer, and Vecna, getting snatched by Brenner's goons, and grieving Hopper's death. If she makes it through her final showdown with Vecna and gets back to Mike and the crew, Season 5 has to tackle the big one. Can Eleven ever just kick back and live a normal life after all that trauma? We need to see if there's a real shot at peace for her. Alright, that's a wrap for now. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, and turn on all notifications. Thanks again, catch you in the next one.
I want